Hey, so let me guess, you want to know what the top 5 neighborhoods are in Vancouver, British Columbia? Well, I got you covered. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the top 5 best areas to live when moving to this amazing city. And one thing you guys got to make sure to do for me is stay to the end of the video, because at the end of the video, I'm going to be showing you the most amazing neighborhood and area to live in Vancouver, British Columbia. You guys definitely are going to want to see that area when you guys are just either traveling out to the city or just moving out here too, guys. So stay tuned for the rest of the video. Hey guys, it's Aaron Sangera here with Prestige Property Group, and me and my team are actually a team of local realtors out here in Vancouver, British Columbia, and we absolutely love helping people that are looking to move out to the lower mainland and the rest of the surrounding suburbs, guys. So one thing that you guys got to make sure to do is hit that. Our phone number is right here down below. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to either drop us a text or to give us a call directly. And then another thing is here's our email address too. So if you ever just feel like giving us a direct email in order to get in touch with us is a little easier, you guys could always feel free to do that too. And then I'll also just leave that information in the description box below and also in the pinned comment as well, so that you guys have our information there readily available, guys. And then another thing, make sure you guys hit that button down below and subscribe to this page and hit that notification bell too, because this week, every week when we do put out videos, you guys are going to be the first people to be able to see them, guys. Okay guys, so now let's get to it. So starting off with the top area that I suggest when moving out here to Vancouver, British Columbia is downtown Vancouver. So the downtown core is honestly one of the most beautiful places to live in the lower mainland, guys. There's a reason why Vancouver's been named consistently one of the top 5 most beautiful cities in the world. One of the main reasons for that is so many people love coming out here when they're coming out here or just living here in general, love living or just traveling to the downtown core, guys. Because when you're in the downtown core, what you'll notice is like everything's located close by. There's shops, malls, tons of eateries, restaurants, activities and things to do, right? If you want to go to Stanley Park and go for a walk on the boardwalk, you could go there. If you want to go just go on the sea bus, you could go there. You could go, there's escape rooms, there's archery tag, there's paintballing, there's like honestly, there's just, long story short, there's tons and tons of things to do in the downtown core and in just the surrounding areas of Vancouver. So, you know, one thing you will notice is when you're living in the downtown core, you're never not going to really run into things to do, because there's always stuff to do, right? On the weekend, there's always different events going on. You know, there'll be like musical theater plays, just stuff like that, right? So long story short, like if you could name it and think of it, we probably have it here. So that's one of the main reasons why the downtown core is one of the most amazing places to live. Not only just in Vancouver in general, but in the world in general, right? There's a reason why so many people flock out to this city on a yearly basis, obviously prior to COVID, but even post-COVID, we're still seeing quite a few, you know, tourists and stuff, even though it's more Canadian tourists, but people still are tending to come out here, right? Because they just love the city. So that's why I suggest one of the most amazing places to live and one of the top areas to live is the downtown core and just downtown Vancouver in general, guys. Okay, so now moving on from downtown Vancouver, we're going to move on to the second most amazing area to live in the city is Kitsilano, right? So Kitsilano is actually located about 5 to 10 minute drive outside of the downtown core. And the one thing you'll know about Kitsilano, the Kitsilano neighborhood and the Kitsilano area is it's kind of more of that suburb feel, as opposed to how the downtown core is, you know, you're not going to tend to run into tons of people that, you know, you consistently see unless you're living in a certain like area of the downtown core and they're always obviously, you know, in that area. You're obviously going to run into quite a few people that you do see, but for the most part, you're going to see tons of new faces on a daily basis in the downtown core and just tons of new people. But as opposed to, you know, Kitsilano, what you notice with Kitsilano is it's more that suburb feel and more that smaller town feel, even though it's pretty close by, right? So you tend to see it's a little bit more like community oriented, right? So, you know, if you go on like 4th Ave and Broadway, just right off 4th Ave and Broadway, you got like great shops, like cafes, so like those mom and pop cafes that are great places to, you know, just go there to work, get together with, you know, friends and family and just chit chat, have a coffee, or like just study, right? If you're a student, it's a great place to just quietly study and get some stuff done, right? And then they also got just tons of eateries and stuff like that too, that's located close by. And yeah, another thing is another great thing about the area is Kitsilano Beach is right there too. So Kitsilano Beach is actually one of the most amazing beaches in Vancouver, and it's actually one of the few beaches that actually resembles an actual beach, right, with proper sand and stuff like that. Obviously, the water here is not like the more warmer climates around the world, like if you go to California, Mexico, the Caribbean and stuff like that. Obviously it's still going to be cold when you get in the water, but it's still a great place to go, like boating, jet skiing, and just stuff like that, or even go for a swim if you really want. So like that's one of the things that people love about living in Kitsilano. And then also it's a nice little student community, even though there are a lot of older families that do live there and that have lived there for quite a long time. You do tend to see quite a few students and stuff moving out there too, because there is a lot of like universities and stuff like that. And it's just easier access getting to the downtown and everywhere else, and just commuting around the rest of the Lower Mainland from that area. So that is one of the main reasons why Kitsilano is one of the top neighborhoods and top areas to live in this. And then lastly, as well, one of the great things about it is it's really close to the Granville Island supermarket. So over there, it's really like a short walk to there, and that place has like some of the most freshest like seafood, meats, and stuff like that, just fresh produce in general throughout the whole Lower Mainland. So like that's another really big bonus that you have when living in the Kits area, like Kitsilano area, is the Granville Island supermarket is located really close by. So getting your fresh produce, meats, seafoods, and stuff like that is really, really simple, guys. Okay, now moving on to the third area that I suggest you must live or just must check out when you're in this amazing city. It's Gastown, guys. So Gastown is actually one of the most historic neighborhoods in all of Vancouver, British Columbia. It was actually founded in 1867, and ever since then, we've been seeing that area just up until since back then to now, you're just seeing that whole area blow up, right? So when you're in Gastown, it's a lot more like concrete style buildings and like brick buildings in that area. And you do even tend to see some pre-historic buildings, like pre-World War II buildings that are still there, right? So the thing is, when you go to the Gastown neighborhood, you will see like you feel kind of that older vibe, and you feel like you're actually in like you could just see certain semblances in certain areas that it's kind of just the exact same as it kind of used to be prior to World War II. So that's kind of like one of the nice things that people enjoy about being in that area is you kind of feel like this. It kind of feels like you're kind of going back in time a little bit, right? Even though there are a lot of like supermarkets, shops, like there's like different stores, like suit stores. So like if you're looking for like men's dress wear or women's dress wear, a lot of things like that are in that area. A lot of eateries and stuff too. One of my favorite places, Taco Pino, and you guys got to check that out when you guys are there. One of the best Mexican food places in all of Vancouver. So like there are tons and tons of things to do in Gastown, and then again, just tons of cafes, coffee shops, again, just little eateries, tons of like mom and pop shops and stuff like that. And again, one of the things you like is, as opposed to the whole downtown core, the one thing you like about Gastown is it has the downtown core feeling of, there's tons of people there, and it's kind of a little bit of that hustle and bustle, but at the same time, that sole little neighborhood, like the Gastown area of the downtown core, is kind of a little bit like Kitsilano, where you kind of do feel like you have that community feel. And if you're going to the cafes and the coffee shops and the eateries and stuff like that in the area, or just kind of just walking around the stores and shops, etc., you do tend to run into like a lot of like familiar faces, and you do start to kind of feel like when you're in that area, it's the one difference between the rest of the Lower Mainland, the rest of the downtown core in that area is you do tend to run into a lot of people that are like remember your face, and you get into small conversations and stuff like that, as opposed to normally the rest of the downtown core, it's like everyone's busy with work, hustle and bustle, like no one's really going out of their way to want to talk to you, or unless you get those small conversations, right? As opposed to the Gastown neighborhood, the one thing you really will like is it's in the actual downtown core, and it's the hustle and bustle of the downtown core, but then at the same time you kind of have that suburban community feel living there too. So like that's one of the most amazing things about living there, right? And then fourthly, we're going to take it over from, so right now we've been talking about the main downtown Vancouver. This is actually one of the main areas in North Vancouver, it's called Lower Lonsdale. So Lower Lonsdale from the actual downtown core takes you about, let's say give or take about 10 minutes driving, right? Ultimately it just depends on how much traffic there is. But Lower Lonsdale is this amazing neighborhood, right? Like the views from Lower Lonsdale that you see of the actual downtown core is like stunning, right? Especially if you have like a condo or especially if you have like a condo in the actual in Lower Lonsdale. From there, the thing is literally directly right across the river. You could literally just see the whole downtown skyline and everything. So it's honestly really an amazing place, right? Even when we have friends and family that come out here, I always have to take them to North Vancouver and stuff like that, and even West Vancouver, and they just love the views and stuff like that from that area, right? And then on top of that, it's like the one thing about Lower Lonsdale is it kind of still has a little bit of that feeling of the downtown core, but then the one thing is when you're going out towards North Vancouver, it's a little bit more suburb feel, but the thing is it's a little bit more like condensed and a little bit more hustle and bustle there than you would say Kitsilano and like I'd probably say Gastown in it, or even in the way that they are. But yeah, for the most part, that's kind of how Lower Lonsdale is. It's a really nice place to live. And then in that area, you see like tons of young families. You do see some older families living there, but majority of it, it's like young, up and coming, like young couples and young families that are just growing and in that growing phase of their life. And then kind of when you leave that Lower Lonsdale area, then the rest of North Vancouver, you do tend to run into like quite a bit of older people, like retirees or just people that are over the age of 50, right? Just older couples that kids have moved out and they're kind of just living in that area now too. Or you do even tend to see some of those people just moving into condos and stuff like that, downsizing, moving into a condo in Lower Lonsdale, and because everything's just located so close by, right? All the shops, stores, eateries, malls, activities, and just things to do, right? And then one of the great things is, as opposed to the downtown core, you're gonna have to drive a little bit farther out to get to like the hiking trails and like to do just mostly more outdoor activities. The one thing about Lower Lonsdale is North Vancouver is known for having tons of like hiking trails and biking trails, just tons of outdoor activities and natural just beauty in the outdoors. So the one thing is when you're living in Lower Lonsdale, you're gonna be a lot more closer to those types of things. So if you're an avid bike rider, or you like running on trails or just kind of doing tons of things outdoors, you're gonna really like living there. And then lastly, one of the most amazing things about living there is the Lonsdale Quay Market. It's actually the biggest market, like fresh produce market in all of Vancouver and the Lower Mainland. And there they got wines, they got cheese, they got fresh meats, seafood, like you name it, they have it there. It's essentially just this big market where tons of different vendors come with whatever produce and stuff that they have, and then you can kind of just buy it directly off of them there. So like that's one of the most amazing things about living there is you got fresh produce literally at your doorstep, essentially, right? Okay, so now let's go on to the last place, and probably one of the most amazing places to live in Vancouver. It's the university neighborhood, so the UBC area. So the one thing you'll notice about the university neighborhood and just the UBC area in general is it's literally like its own community, right? So when you go out there, they have their own beach. They even have a naked beach. They got the botanical gardens that are there in UBC. They got tons of like biking trails. Not a lot of like big hiking trails, like difficult ones, but they got like simple hiking trails and stuff like that, right? So I'd probably say like easy to intermediate. But besides that, if you want like difficulter ones, you're going to kind of have to go towards West Vancouver or North Vancouver. And then another thing is they kind of have, again, just their own little shops, little eateries, mall, stores, like essentially just everything that you're looking for. Because the one thing about the UBC neighborhood and the university neighborhood in general and area is it's a little bit farther away from the downtown core and Kitsilano, right? It's actually the closest place that it's located to is Kitsilano Beach, the Kitsilano neighborhood. And that's probably still a good, let's say 15-minute drive from there. So, and then going out to the downtown core is going to take you about anywhere between like 15 to 20 minutes on a good day. But if there's tons of traffic, then you're probably looking at almost like 30 minutes in traffic before you kind of get to the downtown core and the rest of that area. So that is one of the cons about living in the university neighborhood. But what the main pros are the fact of, it's really quiet there. It's its own little community. So as opposed to what I was saying with Gastown and Kitsilano, like the university neighborhood and UBC and neighborhood and area in general is like literally is its own like community, right? So as opposed to in those areas, you might run into like Kitsilano and Gastown, you might run into some new faces every now and then. For the most part, in the university neighborhood and UBC neighborhood and area, what you do tend to notice is you're going to be running into a lot more like similar faces, and then kind of seeing more of the same people on a daily basis because of that area. Besides the students coming and going from UBC, the people that have lived there for a long time still just continue to live there, right? So that is kind of one of the things you notice about the University District and UBC neighborhood and area in general, is it's a little bit more, I'd probably say out of all the 4 neighborhoods that I named prior, this is probably like the biggest own community feel. And the thing is, and it's the most quietest area. It's gonna have more of a community feel and more of a like a small town vibe, as opposed to the rest of the 4 neighborhoods. Yeah, Kitsilano and Gastown, it's gonna be a little bit more of like a smaller town vibe, meaning like you will tend to run into people that do remember you and remember your face, and you're gonna be meeting those people on a daily basis. But the thing with the university neighborhood is, and UBC neighborhood in general, is you're gonna run into more of those people on a daily basis, right? Because a lot of the older families and stuff that live there, housing prices there are just so expensive in that area that they just continue to live there, right? And the people that obviously like that area can't really afford to live there unless they're just buying like a condo or something to that extent, which most people don't really see as a worthwhile investment or a reason to move out there, unless like their kids or someone that they know is actually going to school at UBC. And then, like I said, even though it is a little bit farther away from the rest of the Lower Mainland, the one good thing is they got tons of bus services there. So, you know, those bus services do make it a lot easier for you to commute to the downtown core and the rest of the Lower Mainland, just Vancouver in general, instead of kind of just being stuck in that area, because it is a little bit out of its way from Vancouver, as opposed to the rest of the neighborhoods are, right? When they're all a little bit more closer knit to each other, right? As like Kitsilano and Lower Lonsdale are probably the farthest, besides University neighborhood and UBC, the UBC area. And if you were to go from Kitsilano to Lower Lonsdale, it would probably take you about 15 to 20 minutes. Again, just give or take on the traffic, right? Because sometimes it could even take you 10 minutes if it's in the evening and there's no traffic, right? Because realistically, that is how long it takes. But the thing is, just with all the traffic and stuff in the area, it is going to take you that long, guys. So hopefully that gives you guys an idea of what the top 5 most amazing areas are to live in Vancouver, BC. Another thing, guys, just like I told you at the start, make sure you guys hit that button down below, like this page, like the video, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button too. And then another thing, here's our phone number right here, right? Make sure you guys either, if you want to shoot us a text, give us a call, feel free to reach out absolutely anytime. We love being able to help people and just answer so many questions, just make this process as simple as possible for you guys. And then another thing is, here's our email address too. So if you guys ever want to just reach out via email too, if that works a little bit better, feel free to give me, just reach out that way as well, guys. Another thing, like I said, I'm always going to keep trying to put out 2 videos a week minimum. So again, make sure you guys are notified to this page, and obviously subscribe to it too, so that you guys are the first people to see the video next week as well. And hope to see you guys next week and in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.